Hey, what's going on, guys? It is Dibes, Mr. Crockpot on Twitter. Welcome to Party on Broad. Woosah, guys. The Flyers defeated the Montreal Canadiens 1-0 behind an unbelievable performance by Mr. freaking Carter Hart. Today, we're going to talk about the top takeaways. But leading off, dude, let's start off with Mr. Carter Hart, the youngest goalie ever to record a shutout in the playoffs. This guy was absolutely dynamic, like really from the jump, really from the first period, man. Just made a phenomenal save at the net. Carter Hart just made two amazing stops at the start of the second period. He had that 2-on-1 that he saved in that third period, and that, oh my God, that ridiculous save right in front of the net with seconds remaining. Tyson, oh my God, man. Before we, get into Carter Hart, I am just exhausted. We can finally exhale a little bit. My man Tyson, follow him on Twitter at Quibel Tyson. My man writes so much great content on the Flyers and the NHL over at thepaintlines.com. How you doing, Tyson?
I am all right. I wasn't sure in the last 10 minutes there how it was going to go. So feeling better once you saw the Flyers pull through there. So it's a nerve-wracking last 10 minutes, that's for sure. 10
minutes? Oh, man. I was on my fucking edge of my seat for the last, at least 30 minutes. It was just after – it looked great because after, Voracek got the deflection in from Claude Giroux in the first, 5 minutes of the game, you're like, here we go. Leaders are leading. And it just – everything just, the shit hit the fan. Joining us today is also my man, Dylan. Follow him on Twitter at DylanJD98. He is the host of the Faithful Fanatics podcast. Check them out on Twitter at Faithful Fans. What's up, Dylan?
Not much, man. Finally able to breathe again. It wasn't pretty, but going up 2-1 in any series in the playoff is a good start. So just look to be better on Tuesday, I guess.
How hilarious is it that Carter Hart gets a shutout on Carey Price's fucking birthday, man? That was just priceless.
His role model.
All right, so Tyson, what was your take on Carter Hart today?
Two things, I think. First, he just looks stellar on his angles for the most part. He just looked zoned in after getting pulled last game. I mentioned last time, he just looked so angry when he got pulled, which was kind of not super normal for him, and he came back looking his normal self. I mean, just watching him kick rebounds out to the corners, away from opposing forwards, his rebound control was insane. It was just incredible to watch him. And then at the same time, he got lucky a couple times too. I think they hit 4 posts tonight.
Yeah.
And so sometimes you got to have a little bit of luck on that front. But yeah, I mean, overall, I would say his overall game was completely solid. I mean, just watching him at the end there was one play where he kicked the puck all the way out to the blue line off the rebound, and then they were able to get the puck out of the zone and force Montreal to do another zone entry, and they were able to clog up the middle of the ice. So just having Hart do stuff like that, there's not very many goalies that necessarily are even doing that at the pro level. So that was just pretty incredible to see him. It looked – I slowed the video down just to double check it. I'm like, that looked intentional. It did not look like it was a fluke. And that's the beauty of this kid, that he's able to do things like that no one else can.
Talk about a really frustrating game two, and to rebound like that and really put the Flyers on your back, man. I am just completely blown away by this kid. Dylan, what was your take on Carter Hart today, man?
My takeaway is that Scott Lawton owes Carter Hart 2 steak dinners.
Maybe 7, probably 7, actually.
Yeah.
Bad.
Look,
those turnovers, bro. Oh, my God.
I feel like the storyline going in was Carey Price, at least on the NBC pregame and all day long today. And Carter Hart said, whoa, wait a second. Don't forget the kid. He was outstanding. 25, 23 saves somewhere around there. And like you guys said, the lone reason the Flyers won. I mean, we'll get into it in a little bit. I mean, the defense looked pretty good, minus the turnovers from Lawton, but the offense is what's I'm having a problem with right now.
Yeah,
it's scaring me.
Yeah, because that's got to be the second takeaway of this game. It's number one, Carter Hart. Number two is the power play, or lack of offense on the power play from the Flyers. Man, it's right now. I saw a tweet. It's the Flyers are 1 for 25 on the power play in the bubble, 0 for 11 in round robin play, 1 of 14 in this Montreal series. I just like, other than like that 1 minute glimpse we got in the first period where they actually started to finally get in front of Carey Price, like completely non-existent. Couldn't get a shot off, and they just can't get set up. You watch these guys; they just can't get set up in their zone, and I don't know what's going on. It's a mystery. This is not the team I'm used to watching. Tyson, what's your take on this?
Yeah, I mean, they've just had a general struggle with, I don't know, it's like they'll get set up, but then they keep trying to do these long cross passes. And Montreal defense, they got a lot of pretty tall defensemen with long sticks that are just kind of breaking up the passes through the middle, and their forwards are just kind of predicting everything. So it's one of those things. I think I mentioned it last time. I can sit there and watch, and I'm like, oh, Giroux's gonna pass it all the way across the ice to Provorov, and then he'll try it, and it'll get broken up because I'm not on the ice, and I'm noticing that. So there's just a lot of it's basically a structural thing. They just got to figure it out. They gotta try something different. They gotta try different zone entries. Like, they rely heavily on Provorov for that. At one point, they had Konecny up on the point. I don't know if that was intentional or just where he was going through, and I'm like, what is he doing on the point? Like, that's just not his area. It's not where he's best suited on that power play situation. So I almost wanted them it was nice to see Raffle return. He had a good game in limited minutes in his return from injury. I was hoping they would throw in Morgan Frost, though, if he wasn't available today, because Frost is a power play guy, especially on the left side. Boards can play the point or the other, and he just tends to not be afraid to drive the net. They're missing a lot of that. They just at some point in the power play, I feel like they just got to start cycling it hard down low instead of just relying on the points and trying to tip it. It's like trying to pass it to the points and getting shots and it isn't working. So your cycle games, what's worked for you, don't be afraid to try it on the power play, or even just switch it up. Like, why not put Hayes with those other guys in the first unit? They have them on the second. Like, try some different guys. Get two guys out front. Get JVR and Hayes out front. The two guys over 6'4". Like, do something different than what they are, because it's very clear. It's the definition of insanity, doing the same thing in the same way with no result over and over. I mean, you're talking 24, 25 times. It's unreal. It's not working.
No, it's not, Tyson. What about you, Dylan? What's going on, man?
Well, Mike Millsbury said it the best. I don't think it's any secret that he's not a Flyers fan, but he said you have to, at some point, you have to try something different. Like you said, the definition of insanity is trying something over and over again, expecting a different outcome, and they just keep trying the same things. I think the last 3 power plays of the 6, they didn't even have a shot on goal. The Canadiens had more shots than we did on our own power plays. Something is really messed up. It's going to come down to AV fixing it within the next few days. Tyson, would you bring Joel Farabee back? Like, do you disagree with Farabee being sent down over? Now, I know like Nate Thompson and Derek Grant are big on the penalty kill, but would you send one of them down and bring Farabee back up? Or,
I mean, if it was me, I know there's some of that they like is having like Grant and Thompson on face-offs in particular, but Thompson is on paper barely an NHL player, and so I think Farabee adds a better option personally. So if I was in their shoes, I would have him over Thompson for sure. Grant had a rough day today. Usually he's okay from my vantage point, but today he just seemed off. Yeah.
And was it me, or did it, like, talking about like getting zone entry on a power play every single time? I think we lost every draw on a power play tonight. It
felt that way. Yeah, it felt that way for sure. And Montreal has some good face-off guys too, so it's not necessarily unheard of. But yeah, I mean, there's just some other strategies you can employ. I mean, one that other teams have done, which I think they have the ability to do, is if they move one of their wingers kind of back off the side and more up to the point, and have some of their defensemen kind of more spread out. And then you kind of make these quick plays and tip-in plays. A lot of other teams will do that frequently on the power play, but they're kind of doing the old school pass around, slap shot from the point, hope someone tips it. And they just got to – I think doing something like that even, that's the first one that came to mind today. I'm like, oh, just move like Giroux up more into the center instead of on the wing. Like, have him move in strategically, have the defense move more in an attack mode for a minute, especially because they have the weapons. That's the thing. Like, Provorov in moments, like, he'll do rushes like a forward. And Sanheim can do it. Myers can do it. So, I mean, you have the weapons even from the blue line in, and usually on the power play, you only have one blue liner. So on the unit. So I think they would. I think that's just one example of what they could do, and hopefully they try it.
Yeah, another issue with me is I hope Islanders play the Flyers.
I don't think anybody wants that. That's the Islanders are Montreal 2.0, but better.
Another thing with gaining the zone, even on 5-on-5s, the dump and chase, it's not working. They don't even have a forecheck right now. And Carey Price is so good handling the puck behind the net. How many times did we see tonight the Flyers dump it in and it's coming right back out the other way? It was almost as if they were content. They got the 1-0 lead, and it was as if they were content just cycling the puck around the boards, dumping it in, Montreal coming back out, over and repeat. It was I said this to you guys, I've never been more frustrated with a Flyers team winning a playoff game than I was tonight.
For real, man. That felt like watching an NFC East Cowboys versus Eagles game, like back in the Eagles-Giants game. It was just a slugfest, man. That was just the most emotional, gut-wrenching game I have seen in a long time. Like, after Voracek got that puck in, like, everything kind of switched, with like 10 minutes remaining in that first period. And just the Flyers were on the back of their heels the rest of the game. And like, I constantly felt like Montreal was going to take this game over and the floodgates were open, like the entire rest of the game. And it was just emotionally gut-wrenching, man. I'm so tired, man.
One more thing with the offense is that, I talk a lot on my podcast about the depth on this team, and depth is great. Depth is nice, but it's only depth if your top goal scorers are producing. And like you said, Voracek starts out within the first couple minutes and getting that goal. It's like, okay, maybe they're off the schneid now, and still nothing. I think that's another issue with the offense is, I don't know. The Giroux, Konechny, Coots just not stepping up so far.
Yeah, I don't know I didn't think Coots was that bad today. Like the way I look at this game for me personally, like Montreal was here in game 2, the Flyers were here. Montreal was here in game 3, the Flyers were like here. The Flyers played better, I thought. They were blocking shots, they were more active. I don't know how much confidence I have in this series moving forward or in the playoffs in general. Like, this is not a game that gives you confidence moving forward. How would you grade this Flyers performance, Tyson?
I'm gonna give it a C+.
Okay.
And some of that is because there were some moments where they looked all right, but I think, like, I was thinking about this as I was watching. Some of the commentators, NBC commentators, talking about I think the Flyers had 23 or 24 block shots, right? And if you ever read any of the stuff, a lot of the more analytically minded people will say, like, that's not a good thing because that means that you don't have possession of the puck, if you're out blocking someone more often than not. But on the flip side of that, for a Flyers team, we can't measure this so much, but I think it's what Vigneault likes to see is that you saw a better overall effort from individual players. Yeah. And you saw the work ethic that the Flyers have been known for all season come to the forefront in this game. So even though it was frustrating to watch, and even though they were outplayed offensively, I think the fact that you did see a guy like Abkabel, like, just, blocking everything. So I give it a C+, just based on the fact that there were some things they can take away and say, hey, look, we got to keep plugging away. And they can definitely gain some momentum the more they go here. That's for sure.
Yeah, I kept commenting the Philadelphia Carter Hearts. If there's anything to take out of this game, and I'm gonna go to bed on this, and I'm gonna be in a much better mood tomorrow morning. But man, Philadelphia has a goalie, and he is incredible. Dylan, how would you grade this Flyers performance?
I'd give it a C. It wasn't good. It wasn't too bad, in my opinion. I know a lot of people were saying, like you said, the Canadiens were up here, the Flyers are down here. I agree, but at the same time, there weren't too many moments outside the 2 Lawton turnovers where I was like, oh, shit, like, they had me on the edge of my seat. I think that a lot of the game was played in the neutral zone. So with that being said, like I said, it wasn't good. It wasn't terrible. But I'm not worried going forward because they do have a 2-1 series lead. And really, in all 3 games, they didn't have any business winning the 2. And I think that's because the matchup. Like you said, like you're a little nervous going forward. I'm not there yet, only because I just think like tonight was Montreal's brand of hockey. The Flyers played to it. They ended up winning the game 1-0 because Carter Hart was spectacular. But if the Flyers stop playing to the pace and the type of game that Montreal wants to play, this series will be over in 5 or 6.
Okay. All right. Last takes, Tyson. Any takes on this one?
Yeah, I mean, I think just one last thought I just had was I've wondered after this one if he needs to put his lines in a blender, so to speak.
Yeah.
For this next game, maybe try to spread out some of the talent, like move Drew back to center, just do this kind of top 3 of Coots, Drew, and Hayes, and just roll 3 lines with whoever on the wings, and just try something different, just to see if they can get something going more efficiently offensively. And I feeling that we're not going to sex game either. I think Haig did enough in that third pairing, where finally the third pairing didn't give up a goal against. That I unfortunately, and I love Ghost, so I'm always sad when he's not in the lineup. But I think that Haig probably did enough to solidify himself for at least one more game.
All right. Dylan, any takes before we wrap it up?
Well, just going off what he said, Haig, I think his physicality, with the defense playing better and playing more physical, slowed Montreal their speed, because I think we saw that a lot last game. Takeaways, just offensively, finding an offensive identity in this series, because they haven't yet. The power play is a clear one, but I just mean even 5-on-5, 4-on-4 hockey. Controlling the puck. Stop try to gain entries in the zone, controlling the puck, not dumping and chasing, and end up having to start over again. I don't know. I don't know how they're going to fix it. That's up to AV and the guys, but I'm confident. I'm confident the series is over in 5 or 6. So we'll talk more on Tuesday.
Love it. If you're watching, Travis Konechny, Kevin Hayes, Coots, Claude Drew got an assist today. Attaboy. JBR. It's time to get rolling, man. It's time to get rolling. Dylan, do you want to plug your podcast, man?
Yeah. We're starting this Thursday with the Painted Lines. I don't know if we'll be doing it here live or if we'll record prehand and put it out, but yeah, look for the Faithful Fanatics podcast this Thursday night.
All right. Tyson, anything you want to plug, my man?
Yeah, I'm doing game reviews after every game, doing more of a deep dive in all aspects of what we saw today, especially once I started getting game sheets and extra information in the hours leading up. So I love doing those and kind of seeing what we can be improved and what we were good at and what we were terrible at. So feel free to give me a follow on Twitter at Tyson Quabell, and then also anything you see on the Painted Lines on the Hockey Flyers page will be right on the front there.
All righty, that is Tyson, and also my man Dylan. Follow him on Twitter at DylanJD98. For Dylan, for Tyson, for myself, go Flyers, stay awesome.
Nice, Tigers.